On February 26, 2021, Sailor Sabol sang the national anthem at the Conservative Political Association Conference, aka CPAC. The performance itself is almost meaningless, but the fallout and ramifications from it have shined lights on various foundational problems with society today, including the media's lack of research in fear of finding facts, of which will hurt the narrative they so wish to achieve, which is more and more partisan in one direction or the other. For taking a stance in the middle of the political spectrum does not attain those coveted clicks and likes. Sailor's tale was never told, even with the simultaneous abundance of lies that were being thrown around like baseballs at batting practice. This is her story, and it includes startling aspects of our current world uncovered in this passing viral moment in time, all of which we should capture a moment to reflect on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not coming to you from a stage. I am coming to you from a Zoom chat. But who do we have here? The infamous, or famous, but maybe infamous for some. I would say more famous. The lovely lady who sang the national anthem at the CPAC event in 2021. It is Sailor Sabol. How are you, Sailor?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great, but I cannot believe how well you are. Everything that has happened to you since the famous event, which we are going to go over. To sing the national anthem, and unfortunately, as I later had a diagnosis of, it is very apparent on the video that she does not hear anything to do with tonic. Even I gave you the most obvious test of going da 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 da, and you didn't go as every other musician would go. That was the main problem, but that is not your fault. That's more a teaching aspect, and we'll find out why, of course, you got this gig. But you sang, it went absolutely terribly. It was not as bad as Fergie. It was not even close to as bad as Fergie, which was also a very disrespectful version. Yours wasn't disrespectful at all. It just wasn't good. So and from this, the world converged to attack you and laugh at you. And I joined in. Now, the people that know me know I'm a centrist. I'm, of course, friends with the Clintons. I played at the White House many times. I played on Hillary's different campaigns. But, and CPAC, for those who don't know, yes, more of a right-wing Republican organization and event. So I joined in making a video, making fun of you, not knowing you, as many musicians did. As many musicians I know made incredible videos, including the one that went most viral. I joined in the fray. I played the video. I made mine was I stayed in the same key to show the world how bad you actually were. I really went for your juggler vein. I stayed in the same key.
I appreciate it.
Yes, because everyone else's video, of course, tried to help you, and that was the fun for the musicians. And also, I thanked you for actually later how you were able to bring out great musicians, because only great musicians could actually make fun of you in the way that they made videos and how they changed chords with you and changed keys with you. I didn't. I said, I'm going to go stay in the same key you started in and show how bad you were. And 3 days later, I thought, maybe I should find out who this is, because I'm known as a connector. I'm always trying to find out. Someone sends me a video, someone says, oh, you gotta listen to this person, they're great. And I go, yeah, they're great. Where's their content? I always try to find people. And I didn't think this with you for whatever reason, because I was so swarmed by mob mentality, I would almost call it. Even though I stay away from that, this time I was, because everybody's making fun of you and no one was defending you. And so I didn't think, but then days later I said, let me contact you. And I looked for you on Instagram, and there you were, not famous, only had like 600 followers on Instagram. And that's when everything changed. And I saw your Instagram, you had changed it to whatever it was before, I don't know, but you had changed it to, yes, it's me, the girl who butchered the Star Mangled Banner. And right then and there, I said, oh my God, this girl is not like all these other young people in the world. She actually is taking it on the chin, and she's laughing about it, and she's making fun of herself. And then I go in the comments of the videos, and you were attacking back in a very, very funny way, not an attackful way. One of the comments, which I'll put up here, said, where can I find the sheet music for this edition? And you wonderfully here said, straight out of my ass, that's where I found it. Someone else had said also, prime example of why we should not defund the arts, because Republicans are more attacked for defunding the arts. And you responded with, if that's what you so strongly believe, then is it safe to assume I can be expecting your donation to help me pay for my music lessons? And I was explaining this to people after. I said, like, did you see this girl? Like, she's not one of these whining lefty liberals that would just be crying and screaming at bullying and everything else. And I messaged you and said, look, I don't know who you are, but I'm amazed at what you're doing here and how you're taking this. And I don't think I could have ever taken the millions and millions of people hating on me. And you took it in with such grace, just a good old smile. And I said, look, here's my video. I made fun of you too. And I thought you'd respond. And then here we are. We've become fantastic friends through this.
Absolutely.
So to tell the world what actually happened, because there is so much, we'll get, the media that has attacked you. But most of the comments, if you look at even Larry Golding's or other people's videos on Facebook, go to the comments, look on Facebook, everybody watching, and look at the just horrid, mean, evil comments that were said about you, mostly based in, clearly, because I'm Italian. I know most things are done in backrooms deals. So everyone thought her dad's a donor, her uncle's a donor, her boyfriend's a donor, her husband's a donor, who knows? They don't know. Clearly it was a donor. So tell the world how you actually got this gig, because the misinformation out there is absurd.
I was going with the college Republicans for UCF, which is where I go to college. I was going with them to CPAC, and my friend David, we call him Didi, he said the prayer right before I sang the national anthem, and he's our chairman, and he also got a job, like a first year, like lower level helper for the ACU who runs CPAC, and they'd come to him and they said, hey, we want a local college kid to do the national anthem for us. Do you know anybody that sings? And he's like, oh yeah, Sailor sings. I'll ask her. And then I was just taking my chemistry test when he called me, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, well, do you want to sing at the national anthem? And I'm like, abso-friggin-lutely. And I called my mom, and that's another thing that really got me. Everybody's like, oh, she must have such a stage mom that like BS'd her and told her how great she was and everything, living vicariously. And no, I call my mom, and the first thing my mom goes is she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, I mean, I'll have 2 weeks to prepare for it, so I'll be ready. And then that didn't happen because I had a horrible sinus infection up to including the day that I sang, that I just gotten on antibiotics before. They hadn't started really kicking in. I was barely able to talk for a few days. I didn't have any time to practice except for the very day before and the 45 minutes beforehand. I was actually feeling pretty good the day before. I was having my friend who does know music pretty well help me out, because she could tell that I wasn't doing that great. And we got to a point where I was singing everything correctly, just repeating it and going over it a lot so that I could sing it correctly. And then I wake up the next day and I feel it in my throat. I'm like, oh no, it's back. And so I just had 45 minutes basically at that mic check to, like, from the mic check to the time that I was going on stage to sing, I was in the back room, and I just had to repeatedly go over and over the song and try to figure out how I could sing it without my voice just cracking like Pop Rocks in a soda can. Some people heard me rehearsing like a camera guy, or some people that were like staffers for CPAC, and they could hear me like under my breath, like going, like, you know, just like absolutely really not feeling great about it as I would sing things, and they could hear me like going, ugh, after I'd practice a line, and they'd be like, oh no, sweetie, you're doing great. It's all good. And I was like, if you say so. And so
I wouldn't have said that.
No, but we know.
I'm too blunt for that.
Yeah, and then I mean, nobody even mentioned it, so I figured, okay, I guess we don't do that. And I was like, well, you know, at least if I, you know, get off of pace, that doesn't matter with it, because there's no backing, you know. Right. Definitely doesn't help with pitch, though. I think I could have worked on my pace and kept that going way better than I could have pulled the pitch out of nowhere.
Was fine. That was
And it's like, the largest thing I'd ever done besides that would be like, I sang at my talent show twice in high school, And so that's the only comparable thing I've ever done to that. And still, that's nothing compared to that. I mean, the lights are like really bright. It was really freaky for me who'd never done anything like that. So I just kind of like blacked out, and I don't remember most of that. I just remember like going out to sing it and then it being over, and then me being like, I'm alive, and then leaving backstage, and then my dad and my mom. The only reason they had tickets is because I had a speaker pass, so they were able to get tickets based on that, because you get 2 guest tickets. So no, they weren't donors. They didn't know what CPAC was until I went.
So not only they weren't donors to Trump or the Republican Party, but they barely knew anything.
My dad didn't know what the conference was. My mom was like, "Oh, is that like conservative conference?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna interview to try to get to go with my club to that." And she's like, "Okay, good luck." So it's like they're just people. They don't know anybody.
So, which of course, again, if you read the comments of everyone, this story makes no sense, because you wouldn't even believe it. Which goes to show how much of the news you really should believe, or at least when you talk to people, what people actually believe, in the same way that we're always talking about how, socialism is the worst idea ever. Yet millions of people think it's this wonderful idea because they don't research it, and they just, my friend said it was great, and see, it's free. There are thousands and thousands of comments with thousands of likes that are guaranteeing your parents were donors, to CPAC, were friends of Trump, and it's just not true. People just made calamity of errors to get you to sing the national anthem when you shouldn't have, and it is no nefarious action behind it. Which I would even thought there was a little. Again, being Italian, we were all about backward deals. I know a guy, I know the guy that knows the guy, and boom, we're in and playing national anthem. So that was not the case here. Did you know it was not a great national anthem when you finished? Like, you knew it was not, or even when you were singing?
Yeah, I could feel it. Well, I don't remember much of what happened because it kind of went fast, but I just remember sitting there and thinking like, oh no, like during the whole thing. And then I go backstage and everybody's like really saying I did great. They're like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, I guess it wasn't that bad. And then I didn't pick up the courage until 2 days later to actually watch the video of myself. And I'm like, I mean, what can you do? I was just like, well, you know what? As of now, nobody's really said anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. So I guess this will just be buried. It wasn't. People found that pretty quick.
So when was the first time you realized that it had started to go viral?
The first time I realized it had started to go viral. Okay, so I sang on Friday, and then on Monday, my club was taking their trip to Disney World, and I was in line for Splash Mountain when I checked Instagram and somebody tagged me and they're like, is this you? And it was tagged under a video of this one guy doing a parody, like try to play along to me and make it sound good. It was this, I don't remember exactly who he was, but he was like saying stuff like, oh yeah, mix it up, girl, remix. Yeah. Show them your range. And I was just like, oh no. And then I like look into the comments and I just see all of it. And I'll be honest, like that first day, it really made me sad. I was like I was starting to cry and stuff. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. It's not at Disney World, not on Splash Mountain, damn it. We're not doing this.
So the irony that later comes with the connection to the Splash Mountain video, you were actually in line for Splash Mountain when you found out this.
Yes.
That's incredible.
That's how I know that one, God exists, and two, he has a sense of humor. Because
I was going to say, yeah, that makes me believe in God even more. That you were
a show writer couldn't have come up with this. It's honestly, looking back, so really gorgeous.
As tough as I know you are, when I first saw your Instagram and your comments, and then in getting to know you, how tough you are. But there was a moment where even you were breaking down.
Yeah, I'm just like a very anxious person. So, I mean, I try not to show that because, you know, I'm pretty extroverted and it's not apparent, but that's how it is. So it was really overwhelming. It was really a lot, but I was just, I want to be doing this now, not here, not in front of all my friends, not at Disney World, not when, you know, I look forward to this trip forever. I'm not going to take this. And then I just tried to hold it together in front of everybody. And I went home and I was really devastated. I was on the car ride home from Disney and my mom calls me crying because she's so worried about me. It was actually pretty dark in the beginning. I had to private all of my social media. I had to take down all of my YouTube videos. I had to delete everything. I had to like make it so that nobody could figure out who I was. People were like finding my mom and messaging her and saying that they hope I die. They hope I kill myself. Yeah, it was that bad. People were finding my parents and saying that. And like, I don't know how, but some people are still finding my social media, even when I took my name and my picture off everything, saying that they hope I die, never sing again, everybody hates you, stuff like that. And it's just, it was pretty brutal. But then I guess a day or two later, I guess that Monday or Tuesday, or that Tuesday or Wednesday, I should say, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to just sit here and hide like that. I'm putting everything back up. And my mom's like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And I'm like, yeah, something tells me that I definitely have to put everything back up. And I did. And I changed my username because I thought it was funny. Star Spangled Baddie.
Yeah, I know.
I changed my bio. I did all of that. And I said, yeah, I'm the girl that butchered the Star Mangled Banner on national television. Go ahead, have your laugh, but I'm not afraid anymore. And that's when everything really started to change for me, because all of the people that were like, even some of the people that really had like no respect for me in the beginning or just like railing me in the comments, some people actually saw that I did that and they were like, you know what? That changes my mind. You're actually handling like this like a champ. You know, don't give up. If you love music and that's something that you love doing, just work on it, get some practice. You know, I hope you don't give up. I hope they don't let you down. Even the people that were the first to like jump on me and tell me just how bad I suck, if once they saw my reaction, they're like, you know what, maybe I was a little hard. The thing I realized is when I shut everything down, I only saw the negative, because it was only the worst type of person that was driven enough to find me to tell me they wish I died. Like, it's only the people crazy enough like that put in the energy to actually find me. But then when I opened things back up, there were good, nice people that could finally find me and actually reach out to me and try to extend their offer. And that really showed to me that we aren't as divided as the media and everybody in the establishment wants us to be and wants us to think that we are, because there are good people on both sides that will reach out and try to have a genuine human to human look. That's not fair to you. I'm sorry that happened. So that's that.
But you had a moment of change where you went from screw this, no, I'm coming back out with a big smile on, which is when I found you. But do you know what changed you? What really gave you that confidence?
The way I was responding to it wasn't going to get me anywhere. You know, especially because I am like conservative and I watch Ben Shapiro's show all the time and stuff like that. I you know, just not that long before, I saw him interviewing Gina Carano, and you know, I didn't consciously think of that, but I feel like that was inspiring to me, because you know, there she was. She had everything. She had all of the media, but because she wasn't afraid to speak her opinions and speak her mind, she lost her job. And then she didn't cower and she didn't apologize for that. And she didn't, you know, grovel for it back. She was like, you know what, love me or hate me, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I don't know. I wanted to be like that. I didn't want them to win. That's a big thing. I didn't want them to win. I didn't want them to think that I did kill myself and then have that satisfaction. I didn't want them to think, oh, there, we got her. Fuck you. You know, maybe bleep that out, but I don't know. But, you know, I just didn't want to give anybody that satisfaction over me of having that power, especially because I've been bullied my entire life. I was like, you know what? Nah, I spent my whole childhood being bullied, and I'm not going to be bullied right now as a 19-year-old in college. I'm not going to let this happen to me.
Why were you bullied?
Because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, try being an accordion player with longer hair than the normal guy. So, I mean, that does lead me into the one of the two major things I want to get to. You, whether you're left or right, the beginning of that process, you know, young people, of course, much more usually always thought of in the left, even if you grew up in a more Republican Party. So The same thing would have happened, I think. You sing, it goes terribly, millions of people come at you, you get sad, cry, go into a turtle mode. Then maybe those that are confident enough, both again, left or right, come out of it and say, no, I'm going to stand up proudly. But the difference between what most people would have done in that moment of stand up proudly and what's different about what you did and what most people need to do and don't do anymore is that they would say, I'm coming out of my shell and no one can judge me because I am me and I'm proud of it, which is the wrong thing to do. You came out and said, yes, I sucked. Judge me. I was terrible. I want to get better.
Yes.
That is the major difference between what you did and tough realist thinking versus what this very liberal young society that we now have in America and seemingly around the world has. They come out and say, no one can judge me. I am strong. I am empowered, blah, 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 which is the complete disaster mentality. You came out and said, yeah, it's me. I sucked. I was terrible. Yes. Judge me. I was terrible.
Yeah.
I know. I want to get better. You accepted it. And you rank yourself on, as we talk about all the time, I think the most important thing in the world, hierarchies and meritocracies. If you don't have those, you can't have a civilization. You can't have a successful civilization.
Yes.
And so much of society's disasters today, at a far deeper level than politics or social issues, we are not living anymore in a meritocracy or hierarchy-based system because too many people see themselves at the bottom of the pyramid. And instead of saying, I want to climb the pyramid, they go, well, the people at the top of the pyramid are evil. I'm down here because of those people. Where before the internet, you only saw the people at the top of the mountain. You went, I want to get there. I don't know how they got there, but I want to try to get there. And that's
exactly.
Not the case.
It's that zero-sum mentality. I mean, just because somebody's doing good, that doesn't take anything away from you. They aren't like wizards. They don't suck the power out of you to be able to have skills. It comes from dedication and practice. And I think a lot of the time you only see the end product, so you don't see all the work it takes to get there. And I mean, believe it or not, I used to be way worse of a singer than I am now. I used to suck way worse. And yeah. But I work at it because it's something that I love doing. I'm mostly self-taught. I had like about a year's worth of private vocal lessons with my community theater director once a week until the pandemic. And then I haven't been able to go back because I moved. I am going back because evidently I desperately need it. I'm going to find somebody. But I mean, if I wouldn't have even been able to be good enough to be offered by my friend to do it, if I hadn't have worked at it. And you can't improve if you aren't honest with yourself and how you're doing. It's obvious that it wasn't great, because if it was great, then they would have picked on me for something else. Because if you want to pick on somebody, you'll find something. I do believe in helpful criticism. And I believe that, you know what, it's the internet, have your fun. Everybody does that. Everybody picks fun at people in viral videos every once in a while. But, you know, when it comes to the people that were just genuinely awful about it, it's honestly sad that you got nothing better to do in your life. I mean, a lot of people say that, but it kind of is. To spend that much effort to find my Instagram just to make sure I know for the 5,000th time that I suck, like that's kind of lame.
But you came out of it, and that's the reason that I offered to give you some lessons and some exercises, because I really want to see you sing the national anthem soon at some event and absolutely kill it and show the world this is what happens, young people, when you accept where you are on the pyramid and know where you are, accept where you are, and then can learn how to get better. Even if you don't like the ladder, first climb the ladder in music or anything the same way. First, do it right in the way that the system is made, and then you can do what you want. Picasso is a perfect example of this. Picasso became an established great artist in the normal way of painting in art. It was only then, after he was accepted and established by the community, that then he started doing his weird. Again, I always say this for music. If Stevie Wonder came out with an album of one note, I would buy it, because he's already established himself to the real musicians of the world, not the 99% of people that just listen to music, but listen, the real musicians, the professional musicians. He has established himself as one of the great musicians of our time. So he can come up with an album of one note. I'll still buy it. But if someone comes up with art or music that's just craziness and they haven't established themselves, I don't care. Yeah, but it's unique. I don't care. I want to see you earn your stripes, your badges, your stars before you go out and do something else. So, and this is a case of you want to become a singer. First, you got to become a great singer and understand music. Then you could sing the national anthem in a weird way. We'd say, well, that's Sailor Sabol. You know, she already sang Madam Butterfly.
Yeah.
She's a great singer. So let's hear what she has to say. So, and it all goes to the deeper problem of people that are not, all of this offense. I don't believe in offense. I actually do not believe in the idea of offense at all. Because if you're a 300-pound man and you accept it and someone says you're fat, you just say, yeah, I know, I got to lose weight. I'm fat, man. I know, trust me. You laugh at it. If you're 150 pounds and someone says you're fat, you laugh because you're like, well, I'm not fat. So I don't know, maybe check your eyes.
Like, what
the only way you're offended,
about? Yeah. Yeah.
The only way you could be offended is if you are 300 pounds, someone calls you fat.
And you're in denial.
Accepted that you are fat. That's the only way you could be offended. It's accepting. You have to accept who you are. People always tell me, why are you playing accordion? Stop playing accordion. You're never going to get anywhere. It's a stupid instrument. It's not popular. I said, I know. I didn't get mad. I said, I know. It's like laughable, but that's what I do. I want to do it. It never offended me. So you have to be confident in who you are, or in this case, be confident saying, I'm not good at this. I want to get better. So that is a major cultural problem we have right now.
Yeah. And I mean, there were people that were like, well, you know, her voice itself isn't the worst. It's just the pitch of the tone that's completely off. And it's like, you know what? If you know what's wrong, then you know what to work on and what to fix. And, you know, honestly, it's going to make me a better singer because I got a lot of free advice. So
now we have the second important aspect here. That is a major issue. And that is when we talked the first time, I thought, kind of improvised while I was talking to you. I thought, what would have happened had you sung at any kind of a left-wing event? And it was the same situation. You went on stage for AOC's inauguration of her Congress or something like that. Or you sang at the Democratic National Convention, or you sang at Bernie Sanders opening of a special Ben & Jerry's ice cream for Bernie Sanders in Vermont, whatever, some kind of a left-wing event. And you sang, it was on national television, and it was just as bad as the one you sang at CPAC. What would have happened? What I think would have absolutely happened, and I've talked to many people.
Not that.
Yeah, not what happened. What I think would have happened, and the people I've talked to on the left do agree with this. You would have been used as a prop of internet bullying. And you would have been brought on the Today Show the next day. Here's the poor 19-year-old girl sailor who has been just tarnished and with hate and visceral disaster, all these terrible, evil comments from everybody all over the world. And it's just so wrong that we have a society of people that just attack people without even knowing this poor girl. That would have been on the Today Show. You would have been on with Hoda. And in the middle of the talk, the phone would have rang, from the speakers of the Today Show. You've been in New York City, Manhattan, and it would have been John Legend. And John Legend, or maybe he would have walked in the room, and John Legend said, "Hey, sailor, it's John Legend."
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
I can't believe it.
They would have told you to do the whole girl thing, even if you didn't like them that much. Do the whole girl thing, And I'm going to give you a couple of free lessons for music. We're going to make you we're going to help you out and get you to get that national anthem well. And Hoda would be like, oh, and then
so
the next
inspiring.
Day, so empowering, so inspiring. All the BS words they use on the left. And then the next day you would have been on the Ellen Show, and you would have been sitting there in the white, in the white couch on Ellen. And they would again use you as a pawn in the game of internet bullying and how evil people are and all the mean things that people said. They would have said, if you can cry, sailor, that would help. Like maybe do a little crying. The producers would have told you that. You'd be surprised when producers tell people to do that before they go on. And then in the middle of the conversation, while you and Ellen are talking about this, blah, 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 blah. And remember, this is Democratic sailor, maybe that doesn't exist, where you would have been more complaining about the terrible thing that happened. Then the phone rings. Oh, I wonder who's that? And it's Lady Gaga. And Lady Gaga calls in and says, Sailor, I'm all about, because her thing is about that. There's a bit of bullying involved, that she's, of course, anti-bullying, which nobody wants to be bullied. So, good for her on that. But that's a lot of what she pushes for. And she would have called in and said, I want to give you some lessons. Learn that tonic. Lady Gaga's a great musician, so she probably would have noticed that with the tonic situation as well. We're going to help you out, blah, blah, blah. And you would have 10 million followers on social media. You would be beloved by everyone on the left. You'd be a hero. You would be singing at the next event. Probably even if it was fake, they had you sing in a studio and they had you lip sing, so it would sound perfect.
Yeah, that is another thing. One of my friends, he was like, I'm surprised they didn't offer you any auto-tune or anything. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't have taken that. I would rather fail as myself than succeed as somebody else. I would have never taken that.
Another great quote from you. That's a good, you just spill good quotes all the time. But this is what would have happened to you. And you would be a superstar in this way. The poor girl who was thrown hate by everyone, they would have said everyone on the right, even if it was half of them were on the left, wouldn't it? But what actually happened in the real world? What actually happened is you had millions of people hate on you, make videos making fun of you, me included, and just laughing. I mean, I spend much time looking at all my friends' videos here, just crying, laughing about how bad it was and how funny it is. And everyone else making fun of it. Oh, haha, it's CPAC, of course. These dang Republicans, blah, 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 blah. They're all tone deaf and everything. She's the locksmith because she has all the keys and all the funny things. Yeah.
My favorite one, and this is because it's really messed up, but there is this one guy that was like, oh, she has more key changes than my ex-wife after the restraining order. I gotta give that guy props. It's hilarious. There's some great ones, actually.
There were. Francis Scott Key only had one key. But on top of this is where the difference between the left and the right really comes out here. Vice, which is far left for the people watching and actually think Vice is a reputable source. Vice comes after you. And with the title, the viral CPAC singer's takes on racism are worse than her national anthem. Now, you also said, of course, the Daily Mail, the Daily UK News, as in news from other countries. And then now this Politics, which is always pretty darn far left, even though they would not admit that they are. They posted a video of you to have everyone, just so everyone could filter in the room and hate you in the comments, hate. And all of the comments in my friends that posted videos on Facebook, my videos, everybody. I mean, it was just like anybody that posted a video of you singing and did a musical interlude, a parody of it, the comments, thousands of comments with thousands of likes of hate. And when I contacted you, you said, outside of the guy at CPAC that contacted you after this happened, I was the only person in the world that contacted you and said, I feel so bad what happened. I want to help you. And actually got to know who you are and heard your story.
Like, you and the CPAC guy are the only prominent people that have any sort of sway that tried anything.
And so I apparently am a better journalist than Vice News. Because
that's not a hard threshold to
that's
cross.
Not a hard, but I mean, I talked to people of more of my leftist friends that were actually shocked. They said, well, I thought every time they write an article, they do some kind of research. I said, they never contacted this girl. And sure, they didn't say that you had, a donor parent. They didn't say that, but they were looking for anything, your Splash Mountain video, to just absolutely attack you, and they didn't actually get to know that you're such a well-read person, a very intelligent person. We've obviously talked for hours on other topics, and you always, even in this conversation, you always just spew these quotes. I'm like, that's a great quote. You need to write that down. And you're not a far right-wing Republican, which these news sources, if you read their articles, the case. And then there was another one I just found that you weren't even aware of. It's all clickbait, and that gives you a little eyepiece into the world of the media, that they don't care about doing research. They don't care about resourcing anything. It's just, how can we attack these people? Because if they had talked to you and realized what a nice person you are and what a smart person you are, and that you're not a far right-wing Republican, a QAnon or anything, they wouldn't have written these hit pieces on you for a 19-year-old girl that they don't know from Adam. And this is a warning to everyone with the media, that you should really do your own research, because your situation was just a perfect microcosm of everything in the media today.
And I mean, it's just like, especially in a time where it's like, it's pretty rough right now with the mental health and everything, with the lockdowns. Like, you look at some really depressing stats about the suicide rate and everything. I'm glad this happened to me and not somebody else, because not a lot of people with everything going on could have been able to handle that. And nobody tried to reach out to me. Nobody, like, in writing any of these articles, wanted to see if I was okay or any of that stuff. It doesn't affect their story. And, you know, there's this one person that made, like, this guy and this girl that made this commentary video on me and my Splash Mountain video, critiquing it, which some of that is valid, because kind of a stream of conscious there, no editing. I could definitely explain myself better on my ideas pertaining to that. But I mean, they were like, you know, normally I wouldn't endorse, you know, people doxing or harassing some 9-year-old girl that she has coming to her. And that's just like, wow, you guys are not good people.
No, I mean, you're tougher than 99% of the people I've ever met. To go through what you went through and go through it with the relaxed, you know, yep, that's me kind of attitude. I don't know how many people, but the more of it is, I look at it that had you done this, again, on the left, a Democratic event, you would be famous with 10 million followers and have sponsorships, and you'd be a big star right now. Because you're on the right, not only does no one care about you, some hope you die, some hope you never amount to anything, and they could give two craps about what happens the rest of your life. The difference, the massive universal difference between those two scenarios would send me completely insane. That one would really throw me over a loop. And you were totally fine with that situation.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, because because I am somebody who's politically active and involved, and it's not news to me, because, you know, I see this happen time and time and time to all these different people. And I mean, you can complain about how unfair things are in life, or you could actually do something to make your circumstance better, because nobody's going to fix it for you. And that's just human nature. Humans are biased creatures. Nobody's going out and looking for somebody but themselves. So that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And you have to remind yourself that there's so much more to life than these things. And there's so much more to who I am as a person that they have no idea about. There's so much more to me than just one bad person. It doesn't define me. So you can't let yourself be defeated that, because I mean, singing in general is just one aspect of many things that come together to make up what my life is. So why should that one thing ruin everything else for me? And it hasn't even ruined singing for me, because I still, every night I go into my shower and, you know, not always good. Sorry, neighbors, but I'm getting better.
Even after Corey said, boy, we need a lot of help. It didn't deter you, of course.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing, is many people like, wait, Corey, you like talked to her and attacked her and showed her how bad she was? Isn't she fragile? I'm like, oh no, she can take it. That's why I did it. I can't deal with people that are offended and can't deal with where they are. You respect who I am as a musician and what I've accomplished and what I know in music. And I thought, I want you to succeed so bad. You have no idea how much I want you to succeed. Just stick it to all these people. But the other thing that shows that this shines a light on is that, yes, the left does run the media and run, more importantly, the narrative of society. This whole situation with you singing was complete and utter proof that the left runs the narrative. It really runs the narrative. It was like the oh holy God that everyone looks up to for guidance of what am I supposed to like or hate? Everyone looked up and said, hate this girl. She's an idiot. Yes, hate her. Do not worry about her safety. Do not worry about her feelings. That is what the narrative was. And there was no right-wing article. Was there a right-wing article that came out defending you? No, there was people in the comment threads of various things across social media might have defended you. And me, and not to mention, when I posted a screenshot of us talking, I got attacked. People came to me and said, why are you helping this girl? Why would you help this right-wing nutjob? I lost friends just showing that I'm talking to you. And that...
Wow. That's how they get you.
That's unfathomable to me. It's unfathomable. but that's where we are society-wise. So anytime people say, "Oh, that's just right-wing bullcrap," that they say the left runs a narrative. Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
This was a perfect example of that. What would have happened to you had you sang on the left versus what actually happened to you because you sang on the right? I hope that this situation becomes more viral, because it's just so much in your story that has really people that I have trouble arguing politics with on the left. I never have trouble arguing with people on the right. That's a whole other topic in itself. And I'm trying to drag people to the middle from the right. It's usually a very fun, laughing conversation. The left, I've lost hundreds of friends, because they can't debate. But this situation has gotten people to go, yeah, that's hypocritical, and yeah, that's wrong. It really has opened the light on things. And so it's just amazing how this went. And also the fact that I just, thought days after I did this to say, well, let me find out who this girl is. And so no one had contacted you. It's like, that's how strong the narrative is. Don't help this girl. She's a B. She's an idiot. She's a QAnon. She's saying it's CPAC, that nut job. Hater. We're supposed, in the same way my career has always been hampered by, it's still cool in the world of media to hate the accordion. It still is cool. If I don't sing or have some crazy outfit on, and it's just me playing accordion really well, you're supposed to hate. And we're still in that. But in the same way, if someone plays guitar, it's like we're supposed to like it even if it's terrible, because it's guitar.
Yeah.
There's so many narratives.
They always say, oh, be yourself. If you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Be yourself. They don't mean it. They mean be the socially pre-approved, packaged up, watered down version of yourself that people can easily digest and go along with. They don't want you to be yourself. They want you to be what they've approved in their mind, the version of yourself. That's all that they can accept. And then they can't see any multiple dimensions to people. You are one thing and one thing alone. I was at CPAC, so I was crazy. So that's all that I was. And they were able to write me off for that. So there's no intricacy. There's no deeper level and all these different things that make up who somebody is at play. It's just, oh, I don't like that thing about them. That's the first thing I learned about them. So I hate everything else about them.
And I love how, Vice calls you racist, because that's their favorite thing to do, just call everyone racist when your best friend is a black girl.
Yes.
So, which there is proof of.
Yes. I mean, it's out there. And when I was talking to her about it, she's like, what? Why would they say that? What are they talking about? And she said and people are going to be like, you're using the excuse of, no, because she was the first person to say, I don't care. I will go out there. I will defend you. Screw them. She is hardcore. She is ride or die. I love her. And the fact that they can't even imagine a scenario where you have a friend that happens to be black without using that, and just for the utility of it, just for brownie points, that says more about them than me, to be honest.
Well, yeah, the left, as we've talked about, the left has become everything of which they sought to destroy. And they continue to become more and more of that. And it's already completely destroyed the music industry, I can tell you. Where if you're not producing music that is somehow helping society and helping underprivileged, whatever underprivileged is, because a poor white kid in a terrible neighborhood with a drugged one-parent family in West Virginia, he's not underprivileged because he's white.
Yeah,
but
no.
It's what they decide is underprivileged. If you aren't producing music of that, no one cares about it. The idea of the meritocracy of being a great musician, that's 50. Nobody cares about being a great musician. You have to have powerful, empowering music to certain groups of people, which we have on our list, which changes daily, but if it has to be on this list, so it's ruining facets of society. And of course, as we both agree, yes, we are both fans of individualism, because that is the greatest diversity. They want to talk diversity.
Yes.
The greatest diversity in the world is individual thought, not collective thought, because there's no way the collective could be anything close to the individual. As people want to talk about equity and how far we get in society, in the history of the world, where there was the same parents in the same house in the same neighborhood with two kids, those two kids never even came close to how much money they made and how successful they were. So if you can't get that in the same household with the same parents in the same neighborhood, the same everything, how do you expect to have the same ideas for millions of people? It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and especially it doesn't work in America. America was built on individualism.
And it shouldn't work, because how boring would life be if it did? If everybody had the same of everything. there'd be nothing to strive for. You'd have no motivation, no goals, nothing to compare yourself to in a positive way to say, that's what I want to be.
So, Sailor, obviously goodness, there's so many things we talk about, but we wanted to keep this more to the CPAC national anthem situation, because I want people to know the backstory of it, and I want them to see that there are many aspects of this situation that are microcosms and telescopes into what is happening in society and what is wrong with society. And we didn't talk topics of politics. This is just a philosophical thing of being confident in who you are, accepting where you are on the meritocracy period and the hierarchy pyramid that exists, and understanding that there is a vast difference between left and right in how the media treats it and how they treated you and how they would have treated you had you sang at a Democratic or any kind of left-wing event. So, but thank you for your time, Sailor. And
thank you so much for reaching out.
I'm so glad I did, because I never knew that all these other things are going to come from it. And the next goal is to have you sing the national anthem at some event, and you're going to kill it. And I'm going to do whatever I can to help you kill it. And yes, wonderful things hopefully will come out of that. And this could be a watershed moment for America. I think it really could be. I think it has that many legs.
At least it will be for me, if not all of us.
It will be for you. You're going to become a journalist and help save journalism, because Vice and New York Times are not doing their job at all. So, all right. Thank you very much, Sailor. And we will talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.